everyone, and welcome to the new writing feedback. So I'm just trying out a new mic, and I hope it works. I'm gonna need someone to maybe tell me if it's working or not. Let me see. I need to fix my seat as well, and say hi if you're there. I've got two essays. We're going to focus on task two essays today. One which has a couple of very common errors with articles in, and so I hope I can clarify some things for you. Tell me which country you're from, and I will share my screen. It's really important that I know that you can hear me, so it would be great if you can let me know. Right, group. When I become a millionaire from this, I'll buy myself a second computer so that I can have two screens at the same time. Oh yeah, my new microphone, it sounds a bit tinny, like a tin. Okay, so you can let me know what you think. So I'm going to look at Tasmira's and share my screen, Javier's today, because I think that these essays, the things that I'll be able to identify in these essays are going to help you the most. I'm going to be able to show you some common grammar aspects and common errors. So we've got two of the two most common questions, which is an opinion question and a discuss both views. And Tasmira has written a discuss both views and give your own opinion response. Now she's written 272 words, which is ideal. It's perfect. You should not be writing over 300 words. You don't have time. The more words you write, the more chance you have of being irrelevant or making a mistake. In order to get a band 8, every sentence needs to be 100% relevant. And if you write too much, some of your sentences won't be relevant. So the best thing you can do is to train yourself to write between 270 and 290 words, 300 maximum. So one of the most common questions is discuss both views. Let's look. Now, would you like me to make this a bit bigger? I'd love your feedback on this. One of the things I love doing in my academy, we have small group lessons. And sometimes if I'm not on point, or if I've missed something, one of the students will say, hey, Joy, what about this? So everybody brings something to the table. I know that you are all studying really hard. I know that you've picked up things from YouTube, from other trainers. So this is very much an interactive session, and I would love you to tell me your comments or ask me questions if you're not sure about this, or even suggest. You can make suggestions for improvements. So let's have a look at this question. Some people say history is one of the most important school subjects. Other people think that in today's world, subjects like science and technology are more important than history. Discuss both these views. So I have a very, very particular structure that I teach for this question. Now, let's see how Tasmira paraphrases. So we're looking for a paraphrase and a thesis. The paraphrase is writing the question in different words. The thesis is what's your opinion? What's your view? So she needs to paraphrase this part. Okay. She says, it is often argued that science and technology should be prioritized as subjects in the school over history. Does anybody know the grammar rule? There's a little grammar aspect in this sentence that I'm going to feedback on in a minute. Then she says, though people who consider science and technology have enough reasons to feel this way, in my opinion, history is an essential subject to be kept included in the curriculum as by studying history, we understand the origin of our existence. Okay, so I like some things in this introduction, and I don't like one thing. So this sentence, though people who consider science and technology have enough reasons to feel this way, I strongly recommend not writing that. You need to be specific. You need to say what their reasons are. So really a better paraphrase for a discuss both views question, a much better paraphrase would be using while or whereas to contrast both the views. So it is often argued that science and technology should be prioritized as subjects in school, not the school, in school. And then I would put, I would change this. I wouldn't say though people who consider. So I would, in school, so I would finish it. And then I would say, Tasmira, however, or even better, you can say others, however, let me see, any suggestions? Others, however, believe that history ought to be regarded as one of the most important subjects. So what we're trying to avoid here, Tasmira, is though some people have enough reasons to feel this way, we want to avoid that. Others, however, believe that history ought to be regarded as one of the most important subjects. Now, this, I'm going to give you world-class IELTS training. Actually, I was going to give you a different thesis, but I don't want to change your essays too much because this is good. What I would say, what I teach in the academy, your thesis should be, this essay discusses both perspectives and why I believe that. However, it is okay, Tasmira, for you to start your thesis. In my opinion, history is an essential subject to be kept included in the curriculum. And then she gives her reason, which is great. As by studying history, we understand the origin of our existence. So what we just changed was have enough reasons to feel this way. Now, Tasmira believes that history, she agrees with one of the views. She agrees with the first view. History is one of the most important subjects. So she needs to talk about the opposite view in the first body paragraph and the view that she agrees with in the second body paragraph. And the reason is because in English, maybe in other countries as well, we always remember the last thing that we heard. So if we are trying to convince the examiner of our opinion, we should write about our opinion lastly. Now, Tasmira's gone about this in the best way that I recommend because she's agreed with one view. And I strongly, strongly recommend that you agree with one view and disagree with the other. Now, let's have a look at her first body paragraph. What do you think? On one hand, has anybody got any comments about that? Let's see. Hey, Mitu. Hey, Suprasad, Emad, and lovely Shioni. Good to see you guys. On one hand, science and technology are ruling over the world with their innovations and discoveries. On the one hand, always the. However, on hi Shama. On the one hand. Okay, so I actually wouldn't be so specific in my topic sentence. The topic sentence is the first sentence that you write in your body paragraph. They are the most important sentences in your essay. And I believe there's a science about them. They need to be really quite general, but really quite direct. So I would say, and I would always try to avoid on the one hand, on the other hand, they're okay, but there are better ways to start your topic sentence. So I would say, there are those who believe that science and technology should take priority in schools. They argue that. And then we're talking in language that means the other people believe this and not you. But anyway, on the one hand, so I would always say, there are those who believe that. There are those who believe, well, that science and technology should take precedence in schools. And then it should be, they argue that. And these two sentences are critical to show the examiner this is not your view. Anyway, let's see what Tasmira says. A country's growth largely depends on its advancement in technology. Good. All the developed countries are great examples of how technology took them to the position where they stand today. Okay, I'm going to highlight this. Has anybody got any comments on this verb tense? Let me know if you think it sounds okay or if you would change it. Moreover, there are better job opportunities for science students which make people believe that these subjects should have more weight than others. Therefore, keeping career growth in mind, science and technology are often thought to be more important than history. This is a very good paragraph, Tasmira, and I'll tell you why, everyone, this is such a good paragraph. She makes it very clear in her summary with passive language that it's not her view. It's wonderful, it's very good. Moreover, there are better opportunities. Okay, I've got two grammar things here, and I would like any of you to make a comment on the underlines. Does anybody have a thought? Hey, Zainab, good to see you. What grammar tense do we use for news or for something that happened recently? What do we use? Anybody? Would we say, okay, let's think of Harry and Meghan. Meghan had a baby, or Meghan has had a baby. Let me know what you think. Meghan had a baby or Meghan has had a baby? Which one sounds better for you? I think there's a bit of a delay, so I just have to wait for you to say Meghan had a baby or Meghan has had a baby. Okay, if it's reporting about today and it's recent news, we're going to say has had. If we say had a baby, then that's the past simple and it's a very specific time. It's like, oh, Meghan had a baby last week. But here, Tasmira is talking about today. So she needs really to use the present perfect. Has taken them to the position where they stand today. Okay, does that make sense with everyone? Oh, again, Zoom's going crazy. Now, good. Has taken them to the position where they stand. Moreover, there are better job opportunities for science students. This is a very good idea. It's a really good idea. And the best way you're going to improve your writing is by, no, it's not the best way. One of the best ways is by reading other essays. You don't need to think of your own ideas. It's not a test of your intelligence. find someone who's written a good idea and take it, okay? So this is a great idea of Tasmira's. There are more job opportunities for science students. And then we're going to put a comma here because the which is extra information. It's not necessary to the meaning. So it's called a non-defining relative clause. So she needs a comma here, okay? Great, let's look at the second body paragraph. So on the other hand, the one I favor is that history is one of those basic subjects without, Let's read this together and tell me what you think. The most important really is to understand. Okay, so Tasmira is agreeing right, what Tasmira hasn't included, let's look at the question. It's a superlative question. Most important. Now she said it's essential. She said it's an essential subject, meaning it's important. But she did not say if it's the most important or if they are equally important. So here, must use comparative or superlative language. Must use comparative or superlative language. Okay, and she didn't. And I happen to know one of my lovely academy students is watching this and she knows that we teach this in the academy. So the comparative language is most important. And Tasmira said it's essential, which means it's important, but she didn't say most, equally, or less. Okay, so let's see. So most, equally, or less important. Okay, very important. Does everyone follow that? Does that make sense to everyone? So now, it seems to me that Tasmira's view was that history is the most important, or is it equally important? So the topic sentence for discuss both views should be, anybody want to suggest, any of my lovely academy students want to suggest what it should be? The topic sentence for second body paragraph should be this. Nevertheless, well, of course, there are lots of topic sentences, but strategies I teach are helping students get 7s very quickly. Nevertheless, I agree with those who believe that. Okay, that should be your topic sentence. History is more important. Okay, so that's what her topic sentence should be. Now, she said the one I favor is that history is one of those basic subjects without which a curriculum will be complete. So this and the one I favor, that's not really kind of an accurate phrase here. So on the other hand, she would be better saying, so you need to mention the other view. I agree with those who believe that. Now you guys, and this is very, very good training. I agree with those who believe that, without which, that's lovely grammar. The most important realization, so for coherence and cohesion, I would then say this is because, okay? That's what I would say next. The most important realization of life is to understand our origin and culture. I would put here, this is because. That's what I would put there. For instance, if I didn't have this subject during my school years, I would have never got to realize the sacrifice of our freedom fighters during the Liberation War in 1971 in Bangladesh. Okay, 2 issues with this sentence. I am strongly advised not to give personal examples, but in this situation you can. It's okay. I just think you're safer not to, but I'm going to leave that. Your personal example is fine, but I would love anyone to help me identify a tense issue. There is a tense issue here. What's the grammar she uses? What's the if sentence? There's a delay, so I'm just waiting. So sorry, I should maybe pause it or something, but I'm definitely going to wait for you. Now, I know who's there. So, and I know some of you should know this. If, so what is this that Tasmira talks about? What's the grammar called? Is it called inversion? Is it called relative clauses? Or is it called conditionals? What's the grammar? Let me just block out some of it. Ah, that's better. Oh, great. Sorry, there's a delay on my comments here. Yes. Right, it's conditional. Right. Okay, good. What conditional has she used here? Yeah, Shubham, good job. So you've identified the contraction. She shouldn't use a contraction. So we're going to fix the contraction, but there's more. There's another mistake here. If I don't like to say mistake, let's say inaccuracy. There's another inaccuracy. Now, anybody, what type of conditional is it? So we've got the first conditional, we've got the second conditional, which talks about imaginary in the present, or we've got the third conditional, which talks about imaginary in the past. So let me ask you this. Is she talking about imaginary in the present, or is she talking about imaginary in the past? That's the question. Is she talking about imaginary in the present or imaginary in the past? Hey, Or, it's great to see you. Great to see you. Okay, Mitu, it's the third conditional. Right, Lena, you've got the right answer. Her meaning, she wants to talk about the past. Okay, Lena, you're correct. She wants to talk about the past, so she used the past simple, but it's not correct in conditionals. In conditionals, when we talk about the present, we use the past simple. When we want to talk about the past, Lena, do you know what she should, does anybody know what you should use to talk about imaginary past in conditionals? Yes, Shubham, had. So if I had not had, 2 hads because it's the verb. So when we are imagining the past, we need to use had. when we're imagining the present, so if I won the lottery, then we use the present, sorry, the past simple. She needs the had. It's the third conditional. Okay, great job, you guys. So I'm going to let her have this personal example because it's a good one, as long as it doesn't read like a story. I would encourage my students to say, for instance, if yeah, no, it's a good example. For instance, if students in my country, Bangladesh, had not had this. Good. Okay. Then she says, without this subject, the future generation will lose the opportunity to understand their identity. That's why I firmly believe that we should not forget the importance of this subject. Right. A couple of things. So she should not use contractions. She should say that is why. And the issue here is throughout the essay, she has not addressed this. Most important. All through the essay, she's written a lovely response. Lovely. But she didn't mention in either body paragraph, is history most important, equally important, or less important? She has said we should not forget the importance of this subject, but she's missed huge points for task response because she didn't say, is it most important, equally important, or less important? So in conclusion, let's see her conclusion. In conclusion, it will not be a wise decision to neglect history because it defines who we are and hence we should be, it should be given equal priority. So in the conclusion, she's written equal priority, okay, as the other subjects. But I would write this conclusion a bit differently. This is what I would say. So everybody, let's look at the ideas. She needs to include the ideas of body paragraph 1 in her conclusions. So, this is what she should do in the conclusion. In conclusion, and then she wants to use a while, or although, or despite. In conclusion, although, let's see what moreover, there are better job opportunities. Even although there are a larger amount, although there are more career prospects for science students, comma, I believe that's what she should do. So in your discuss both views, it's very important that you include the first view. And then you say, I believe. Although this view, comma, I believe this view. Hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? So I believe history should be given. So she only talks about equal opportunities in the conclusion, and she should have said in every stage of the essay, it's clear what she believes. Okay, I believe to neglect history because it defines who we are, and hence, so I would put this. I'm going to attach this essay afterwards. So I believe history should be given equal opportunity, equal priority as the other subjects because it defines who we are. Okay, what do you think, everyone? So according to me, Tasmira has actually missed a large part of the task response. But apart from that, her coherence and cohesion is really excellent. So each sentence is meaningful, and I very much like her ideas, especially in the first body paragraph. She needed work on the conditionals. This would be a very high 6.5, I believe. It wouldn't quite get a 7 because she didn't address, is it most important equally, until the very end. It was like an afterthought. So, I'm going to give her actually, unfortunately, I'm going to give her a 6 for task response. And I hope she's not upset with me. Her coherence and cohesion is wonderful. That's around a 7 or an 8. Her lexical resource and her grammar. Let's have a look. She's got some great words. 7 for lexical resource. I'm not looking for individual words. I'm looking for collocations. So let's see if we can identify any collocations. Let's look in the first body paragraph. A collocation is a word that goes naturally with another word. So I can see here, largely depends on. She put largely with depends on. That's a great collocation. Job opportunities is a collocation. And so the errors with the grammar were relative clauses, she needed a comma, she needed the present perfect, and she needed the third conditional. So I would give this an overall 6.5. Very nice essay, very little tidying to do. Right, any questions? We're just doing 2 in this session. Okay, good. So we are doing Javier's. So this is the second one. Next week, we are going to do, I'm going to do 1 week feedback, 1 week training. The training is going to be next week on gerunds and infinitives. Super, super, super important. You need gerunds. You need to know how to use gerunds well for your coherence and cohesion. Now, let's have a look at Javier's question. And tell me, what type of question is this? Let me just make this bigger for you guys. He's written 164 words, possibly just a little bit short. Levels of youth crime are increasing rapidly in most cities around the world. What are the reasons for this? And suggest some solutions. So again, topic of crime, you need to be familiar. I really liked Tasmira's ideas in her essay previously. There are more job prospects for science and technology. So let's read Javier's essay and let's see if you can gather any ideas. Now, Javier let's see his paraphrase. So levels of youth crime are rising in cities around the world. And he said youth crime levels, so let's make that a small c, have risen sharply in urban areas worldwide. Nice, nice paraphrase, good. Good. Okay, although this problem requires a complex analysis, I don't like that. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It was a little bit like Tasmira's, although they may have reasons. So if Javier was my student, I would get him to delete this. I find it irrelevant, okay? And then I would teach him to say, this is largely due to But actually, I'm going to delete that because I actually want to keep it as close to the student's original, because that's what is in their mind and their heart. So one of the main reasons that lead, right, there's a subject verb error here. What is it? Jyoti, should you give personal examples? I always tell students not to give personal examples. I don't believe you should, but you can, in some situations it's okay. Tasmira did it very well. But I would practice not doing that. So, first of all, one is one. Okay, one is not two or three or four. So one is singular. So Javier has to say that leads to. The verb needs to be in the singular form. Okay, anytime we have one of the verb needs to be in the singular form. Now, we cannot say youngsters. It's too informal. So what can we say? Young people. Now, and after this, after leads to, what's the verb form? One of the main reasons that leads to young people, or that leads young people to, hold on a second. This is where my brain burns out. Okay, one of the main reasons that leads young people to commit, he's correct, he's correct, a crime is the constant increment of the poverty ratio. Okay, however, a possible, okay, Javier, and everybody who's watching. Is the constant increment in, I'm not a fan of increment here. Is the widening, I'm going to put this, is the constant widening of the wealth gap. Just me. Okay, I'm just going to suggest that. Now, for coherence and cohesion, he stopped his sentence and it's very abrupt. And we want a nice flow. So what we should put here in a cause and solution essay is a semicolon, however. Make that small. A possible solution is implementing educational programs in jails. Now, I see one issue with this. So levels of youth crime. Your solution is education program in jails, but what if the child or the young person isn't in the jail? What if they're just committing their crime for the first time? For me, that doesn't make sense. So I would say is implementing educational programs, not in jails, I would say in deprived areas. I hope you don't mind, Javier. Guys who are watching, do you agree with me? Because it's not, this essay is not about re-offending. It's not about people who are already in jail. It's about anybody that's committing a crime. So they need education before they get to jail. I hope that makes sense. I just have to check the comments. Anna, thank you. So 2 solutions. So what are, yes, and Javier, you need 2 solutions. So, you do. So if you don't want to introduce both solutions in your introduction, then what you should say is, however, there are measures by which this situation can be tackled. I'm going to give you all this, okay? I'm giving away all my very best training. However, there are measures by which this situation can be tackled. We'll say tackled because we want to eradicate crime, but sometimes if you can't eradicate it, then we would say mitigated. Mitigated is reduced. Okay, good. So that's actually my suggestion. Thank you, Anna. Now, Javier has got 2 body paragraphs. He should talk about 2 reasons and 2 solutions. Poverty has been increased around the world, especially in underdeveloped countries where youth crime became a serious problem. Now, there's a couple of errors here. Javier has used the passive. There's no need for the passive here. It's an active verb. Poverty has increased. Another person didn't increase it. So, and also, I strongly recommend topic sentence. Topic sentence. So we talk a lot in the academy about wanting clear signposts. They mark so many essays. They don't get paid that well. They get very tired of trying to understand what the student is saying. So they want a very clear topic sentence. And all the essays that I teach are actually written by examiners because I wanted to teach the best type of things. And the topic sentences are very, very clear. And so what I would say here is, there are 2 main causes of the increasing crime rate among youth. The first is poverty. Okay, so what we want is we want a very clear topic sentence, and then we want introduce the first idea. And then I would say, and then Javier, you can put your poverty has increased, and then you can put this here. This is more your explanation, it's not your topic sentence, okay? Poverty has increased around the world, especially in undeveloped countries where youth crime became a serious problem. Now, if anybody is still watching from the first video, what's the tense issue here? What tense should we use and why? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. I'm going to get a drink as well. Let me just put this on silent. Thank you, Patricia. Brilliant. So Javier, you're talking about nowadays. It's news language. So you need to say has become. Okay. People with unsatisfied basic needs are more likely to commit crimes. Nice. Furthermore, youngsters, again, we don't use youngsters. Now, he's got a good structure to this paragraph. It's very good. He's got an error here. Furthermore, young people influenced by advertisements, which leads to. So which leads to should only describe, the which should only describe a simple sentence. So subject, verb, object. But here, he doesn't have subject, verb, object. He has, it's all subject. Young people influenced by advertisements. So he needs to put a verb here. Young people are influenced by advertisements, which leads them to consume and spend, parallelism, money on necessary, this sentence is, oh dear, this sentence has gone on far too long. Furthermore, young people are influenced by advertisements, which leads them to consume and spend money on necessary goods. And then comma, find a way. Oh, I've got it, right. Right, Javier, so sorry. Furthermore, young people, which leads them. Right. I take back what I said, okay. Furthermore, young people who are influenced, that's a reduced relative clause, which leads them to consume and spend money on necessary goods, find a way to have what they want by criminal activities. It is clear from a recent survey from Bolivia that the levels of crime have been increased proportionally. Again, not the have been. I don't know about this last sentence. It doesn't seem to like. I don't know about that last sentence. I would say, therefore, for me, this last sentence isn't great. Furthermore, young people influenced by advertisements, which leads them to consume and spend money, find a way to have what they want by criminal activity. So basically, what you've got here, Javier, you've got all of your second idea in one sentence. I would separate that into two sentences. I would say, okay, so this is what I would say, Javier. Furthermore, young people are influenced by advertisements, full stop. This leads them to consume and spend money on necessary goods. This leads them to consume and spend money on necessary goods. And criminal activities are the easiest way to fund this. So I don't like your last sentence, Javier. I would say your last sentence doesn't connect with the previous sentence. Your previous sentence is about advertising and criminal activities. Your last sentence is about the poverty ratio. So you're going to lose points there for coherence and cohesion. So I'm just going to put this in yellow and then you can change it. And it needs to connect either both ideas or it needs to connect to the previous idea. Right, okay. Good, great first few words to solve this problem. Great topic sentence, good. The government should get deeply involved. Now, deeply does not collocate with involved. The government should get involved, helping. Okay, so look at Javier's. This is like a 1 comma, 2 comma, 2. The topic sentence needs to be shorter. So the government should, to solve this problem, the government should get involved. Finish. They can do this by helping young people to develop. They can do this by, again. They can do this by helping young people to develop skills which will help them to find a job and move away from criminality. So when you've got a verb and then another verb, this is called parallelism, and the verbs need to be in the same form. Find a job and move away from criminality. Employability, that's a great word. I love it when students start their sentence with a gerund. Nice coherence and cohesion when there isn't too much furthermore, therefore, as a result. Good. You do need furthermore sometimes. Employability depends on personal habits, abilities, and education. Hence, the development of educational programs in jails and vulnerable. So, Javier, I'm going to delete your jails. Oh, okay, I'm going to keep your jails because you've got vulnerable neighborhoods as well, but it shouldn't only be about jails, like your introduction. Can make a difference among no youngsters, juvenile, let's say juvenile delinquents. Juvenile delinquents. Oh. Thank you. I'm getting so lazy with my spell. How do I get rid of this? Right. A famous attorney who has been interviewed in a TV show spent 5 years in prison when he was 18 years old. During these years, he studied law, and once he finished his sentence, didn't have to commit crimes anymore. Okay, well, we're going to put did not. Did not have to, did not commit crimes. I would say he studied law and got a job, maybe. But okay. In conclusion, the rising in the level of criminality among youngsters. So again, we can't say youngsters. You're going to have to repeat young people, adolescents. Adolescence is a good word. Adolescence. It's with an E. Is a severe problem which can be correlated with the average incomes of the population. Okay, nevertheless, it can be solved with educational program in penitentiaries and a strong. So again, with the penitentiaries, I would say in communities as well. So let's go back to your introduction, Javier. In deprived areas and correction. Such a great word for prison. I'll put it on word of the day. Correctional institutes. Correctional institutes. Okay, guys, we're nearly finished. We're just going to discuss this a bit more. I'm going to try and work out how I can stream into YouTube as well, because I know that not everyone has Facebook. Right. Very good job, Javier. So my feedback here, topic sentences, general, direct, okay? I would think this is a 6.5 as well. Lots of good essays are just stuck on the 6.5, and it just takes a little bit more to get them to a 7. I'm going to give him a 6.5. He hasn't reached a 7 because he talked about jails, and the question is about youth crime. It's not about recommitting crime. It's about original crime. So coherence and cohesion, I'm going to give a 6.5 because of the last sentence in the first body paragraph wasn't connected to the previous sentence. The topic sentences were too long. Lexical resource is good. And your grammar, very good. Yeah, very nice. We're going to be kind of 7.58. Now, even though I've given him these high marks for other areas, I don't believe the essay as a whole. So what I might actually, I have to think through my examiner's brain. Those two are going to be 6. So the essay as a whole is going to get 6.5. Okay. This has been a fantastic session. I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm taking it a little bit more slowly so that we can really focus. I'm going to do the feedback every other week. So feedback 1 week, training 1 week, feedback 1 week. Next week, the training is going to be gerunds and infinitives, which are so important for your coherence and cohesion. But I'm always open to doing training on anything that you're struggling with. So if you want to email me or send me a message or post in the group, hey, Joy, can you do a training on this? I would be super happy. And you're going to see me active a lot in this group because I'm going to be promoting a new 5-day training. So not next week, the week after, we're going to be doing a 5-day training. It's going to be so exciting. I'm going to have some new examiners come and work for me in the academy. I'm going to be growing it a little bit because I like to spend a lot of attention on the students in the academy. So that's why I haven't wanted it to grow. I've been so afraid. But I'm getting some really good people to work with me in order to help you guys the best. So this was, can we have this video as a share? Reynolds, yes, Reynolds. 1, I'm going to be emailing it to everyone. And 2, I'll put it in the guides section of this group. So it's going to stay in the group. And then I might even upload it into YouTube. Any other questions? Javier, great job. It's good to see you there. And then Shubham, why most of the people stuck at 6.5? It's like, it's called a glass ceiling. It's like most people in the UK, they struggle to earn more than like 27,000 a year. It's like a ceiling. It's like you can't get past it. And there are lots of just common things that people do. So with Javier, he, according to me, you know, he's very welcome to get feedback elsewhere, but according to me, he didn't get a 7 because largely his task response. He talked about jails and no other things in the introduction. I really hope that's been helpful for you, Javier. It's great that you've been able to join live. What country are you in? Are you, I assume you're in a Spanish-speaking country. I'm Mohammed. About collocations. Collocations are words. Let's look at Javier's collocations. So for lexical resource, band 7, you need collocations. So let's look at his introduction. Educational programs. Okay, great collocation. And then I put these words. Deprived areas, correctional institutes, collocation. So the correctional institute is going to go in the group tomorrow. And then let's look in his first body paragraph. Commit crimes is a collocation. Actually, What did I say about your grammar? I'm taking your grammar down. Sorry, Abby. Sometimes I have to read it twice because of the parallelism. Severe problem is a collocation. So collocations, Mohammed, are words that go nicely together, and that's what you need to focus on for your band 7. Anyway, it's been delightful. Great to see you. And oh, you're in Argentina, so that means you're a few hours behind. That's really great. Mohammed, you can send your essay and you can post it in the group, but I simply can't do everyone's essay anymore. So what I do every week is I approve them, and then I look at them briefly, but I just because of the time, like last week I spent like 8 hours just doing free feedback, and I'm on less than minimum wage doing it. So I approve them, and then I look at the essays which I think will benefit the students most. The essays that have got really quite a good structure, but have got some little grammar things or suggestions that I can make for the benefit of everybody. It's not going to benefit everybody if the essay has got so many mistakes and I'm correcting really basic mistakes or errors. So it's going to benefit everyone to see a really good essay like this, which is possibly kind of 6.5. And it's going to benefit everyone that I can say, okay, this is good, but let's improve it with this topic sentence. So you're going to learn from peer learning, looking at other students' essays. So you need to be around 6 or 6.5, and you need to kind of follow the structures that I teach for me to do feedback on your essay. Otherwise, it doesn't help everyone. Okay, now I'm really going to go. Lovely to see you, and I'll see you soon.